So, welcome to Side by Sides, where we try to learn something about wine by trying one or more different wines side by side, comparing them. I am Mike, the winemaker, and we have our test subject, guinea pigs slash co-hosts. And then you look familiar. Which one are you again?
And Rachel, I would be your daughter.
And I am Kevin, and I would be your son-in-law.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Mm.
So our
We're doing great.
wines for today. Well, by the way, if I start to swivel, you should yell at me. I was going to have Tim shrink wrap me to the chair so I couldn't move, but he's not here, so I'm trying to use willpower to do that. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not fun to shrink wrap yourself.
No.
So the wines for today are 2 California Chardonnays, and they're up on the screen. This is not an advertisement for these wines. This is not vouching for these wines. I don't really know how good or bad they may be. They are just 2 red leaf wines that illustrate the thing we're trying to do today, which is oak. So we got a cru, and we have unduly cru says it's an oak right on the label. The other one doesn't say anything about it, which would lead you to believe that it is in fact oak, because it is most commonly called. So you got to look specifically for unoaked, or sometimes naked, because naked is wine coat.
Why does California like oak so much?
Okay. If it was 2,000 years ago, we would be Romans.
Okay. Yes, correct.
Yes.
Maybe.
We would be making our wine in clay amphorae, which is big jars made out of terracotta or something. At some point, they noticed that their friends, the Celts up north, were keeping their beer in wooden barrels. And it occurred to somebody that the wooden barrels might travel better than terracotta clay pots.
Oh, yeah.
And so they tried that, and then they noticed that having the wine come out of oak barrels, it actually tasted better. And so that one thing led to another. And as time passed, lots of wine were done in oak. Perhaps they were very old oak barrels that didn't add much in the way of oak flavors, or newer oak barrels that add oak flavors. That might be good for some wines and not so good for other wines. Maybe around the 60s and 70s, probably in California, people got born in Christmas. Much like the clowns in Dumbo, if you have 20% oak, 40% oak must be twice as good. 80% oak must be twice as good as that. So if you make the diving board a mile high and Dumbo has to jump off of it, that's the best thing.
I see.
Better. I see.
So putting a lot of oak on reds became common in California. Then somebody simple got the idea. Sure. And a lot of people like it. A real Chardonnay, which would be called Chablis from France, wouldn't be oak because they just maybe they'll start to. But here in California, all righty. So should we try these? Oh, we should look at the back of the label. Let's look at the.
Yeah,
this is the back of the label. We should look at the front label. Labels don't always tell you very much about the wine. I mean, it has a government warning. It's got a basic name of the wine, making the vintage, and then it usually just has some nonsense. So the unduly rapid label was mentioning that this is on the buttery side. So number one, that means it's been through malolactic fermentation. Usually, if they're talking about buttery.
Sorry, what does lactic fermentation mean in this context?
The grapes come naturally, mostly with tartaric acid. There is a certain amount of what's called malic acid or malic acid. I'm not really sure of the pronunciation of that. So there's a bacteria that will convert the stronger malic acid into lactic acid, which is the thing that would be in milk, would make it taste buttery.
Right. So
malolactic fermentation is allowing the bacteria to do that. Anyway.
Nice.
So yeah, on the other side, on the cru, it's from the Santa Lucia Highlands, which is like a little area just south of Monterey. And so very typical Chardonnay flavors are mentioning the green apple, some lemon peel, citrus. I think it says guava there, which is like a tropical fruit. That's fairly typical. And then unduly rampant. See how it just says California Chardonnay? That means it's not from a particular place in California. It's not from Paso Robles or Santa Lucia. It's just the grapes are all from California, or at least 75% of them are. But they just got a bunch of grapes from different places. So that's what it's. So should we try these? Let me see if I can shut it out. But
What should we start with?
still, let's start with them both and see. They look different.
Very
You guys have
different.
to
Very much so, yeah.
You guys either have to cozy in or need further back. So, unoaked Chardonnay.
I guess green is the most compelling background for this.
And then you can see the differences, so that's good. So the unoaked is like light in color. You got a little bit
Yes.
more goldy color. So that could be from the oak, just leaving it on the skins for longer. It's hard to know exactly what they did.
Are you going for the crew?
You didn't give yourself very generous amounts.
It smells appley for sure.
Yeah, it absolutely smells like
About the unduly rampant.
and it smells like theater popcorn butter.
It has the buttery is really
It's very
very.
So I think the crew is maybe more aromatic.
Huh.
It's like stronger flavors, maybe.
I think it's definitely more volatile. Yeah, didn't take much to get the crew to breathe in.
So we can taste these. That's right.
Yeah, let's try it.
So that's actually
Yeah,
fairly
the crew
pleasant,
has
huh?
a very it
That
has a very
smells-
like green apple skin flavor, and something like star fruit. There's like a tropical citrus flavor to it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going? Let's do it.
It's totally different. The mouthfeel is different. It's much smoother and less acidic. And I swear it tastes like the way that theaters smell. It has like the aromatic of like a little toasty.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I don't like white wines usually. I like that.
Myself as an oak hater for white wines, and I actually also really like that a lot.
Let's see. So
I did not come in with an open heart.
So for alcohol, the crew is 11.2%. The pH on the crew is 3.46, which is high and normal for a Chardonnay. And the round is 3.64, which is kind of like more like in red wine territory for what the acids. The points would normally be more acidic. Makes it be easy to drink.
Yeah.
Smooth.
It's much smoother, I think.
Yeah.
And that's why I like it more, is it doesn't have quite the same like acidic bite as the crew. The crew's not unpleasant or anything. It's just it's notably it feels more acidic and less smooth.
Yeah, it's like different wines for different purposes. You were just sitting out on the patio after day. And then this, crew, you could put it with food, fish or something like that. Salmon, because the acid would cut some of the fattiness in salmon.
Yes, yeah.
Is there anything else we want to know about?
What was that?
Is there more things that I forgot to say about?
So why these two in particular? Because
That's
they're
a great question.
readily available, or do you think that there's like a high contrast compared to two other white wines?
Yeah, so it's mostly about availability because, like, I try to find wines that are not super expensive that anybody can find. Like, these come from Bentonville. It's up the street. You could probably get it at Total Wines, or like even a real wine store would probably have these or something very close to them. And they're not pricey. And it was a pretty good bet that they would be noticeably different from what it said on the label because I can decode it. And so I think it fairly illustrates, or at least starts to illustrate the taste of it. Weren't you haranguing me about how it could get some?
Look in there if they're using steel barrels sometimes, because you said something about steel barrels.
Well, when I was talking about steel barrels, if you read Chablis and you were making, use steel barrels, just like barrique size ones, you could buy those, or you could just keep it in a steel tank. And so the Oaked Chardonnay notionally is coming out of oak barrels. So the oak is harvested and it's aged. They toast the inside of it, make a barrel out of it, which allows oak flavors to come out to the wine. But if we're talking about high production Chardonnays, as this probably is, I don't know how they make it, but you see it around a lot, so it's probably high production. It's very likely it is done in steel tanks, but the oak elements are introduced as like staves of wood, or sometimes like cut into little cubes. Sometimes it's even like a powder, which I think is really weird. But
That's really odd.
staves or cubes are designed so it's sitting there in a tank. You put it in there, you leave it for 8 weeks. Now it's all hooked up. It's
Would the same staves only be used in that one line, or after production would they be used in another one? Like bourbon barrels are used, for example.
So you would usually use the stave type things just once. So if we're talking about the real barrel, it gets like super complicated because a brand new barrel has what's deemed to be a 100% oak effect. Then the next time you use it, it's only a 50% oak effect. The next time you use it after that, the
interesting.
third time, it's
it has a
25%
half-life
oak effect. And after that, it's neutral. Well, this is not perfect. That's a rule of thumb. And it may continue to have a very tiny, small amount of oak effect, more or less forever, if it's made out of oak. But if you're trying to achieve a 25% average oak effect, you could have one jowl to 25%. And so that's
I see where you're
simple.
getting at.
But imagine that you got some barrels that are neutral, you got some that are on their third use, you got some that are on their second use, and you got some new ones, all different numbers. You're going to fill up 10 of them with some wine. Figuring out how to make that percent is painful.
Sure,
So you can also take your little cubes, just put it in neutral barrels, something like 70 grams of oak cubes, less duplicates, twice as many, make it twice as empty.
Sure.
But the less confused.
Less like a wood problem.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all about oak. And this was about zero oak versus no oak. And the next episode is going to be some oak and a whole bunch of oak. And the wines, Rioja wines from Spain. And I think that the brand name is Case de Calceres, if I'm not mistaken. So one of them, they're going to be the same brand, but one of them is going to be called a Crianza, which has less. One of them is going to be a Gran Reserva, which will have to do with how long they are aged this time. So
that's exciting.
There's more oak complications.
Yeah, more variables.
Okay.
More oak complications on our way. Thanks a lot.
All right.
See you next time. I just figured
Thanks.
the TV show could be over.